Hello, Beez Bladers. Welcome back and welcome newcomers to the channel. This is going to be a quick one, so buckle up, Buttercup. This is a sweet knife, and I'm going to tell you why I think this is such a great everyday carry knife. Some folks don't like it because of the looks, but I'm going to tell you why. If you get one of these, you're going to be like, oh my gosh, he wasn't kidding. I totally love this knife. This is the newest version of the Vosteed Nightshade. Would you look at it? Just look at it. They have modified it. Here is the last version, the LT with the flipper tab. Well, for all you folks that don't like the flipper or don't care for the flipper, or maybe you didn't get in on this one, by the way, they are back in stock, which is very exciting. And I checked before I made this video right now because I wanted to make sure I was telling you correct information. But anyway, I'm going to go over this real quick, tell you what I think about it. Look at this. It has very nice micarta. There are four different versions of this new one. You can get the black stone wash, and I believe the other one is the regular stone wash or the satin finish. I will put links in the description so you can go check them out and get all the specs and the stats. And I'm going to tell you about a video. I'm going to give you a link where you can go and watch. I will totally disassemble and show you how to clean and maintain one of these bad boys. But back to this one. Look at here. It has a beautiful it has a pivot collar. It has a really nice looking pivot collar. And there's your thumb hole, which is it's a different shape. The jimping on these is spectacular. 10 out of 10. It's so good. I'll tell you about that in just a second. Here is your pocket clip. It is inset into the liner, so there's nothing to grab a hold of the top of your pocket and give you a snag. The pocket clip is very strong. It works very well. And you want to see this blade? You can reverse flick it or you can thumb flick it. Let's thumb flick it. Not everybody likes the reverse flick. Look at that. I'm telling you, this thing is so nice. It has a modified kukri style blade. It's a shillin cutter. And in one, I have 2 or 3 videos on the Nightshade. I tell you all about the history of it in another video. It has a tall, flat grind. I believe this blade is about 1.21 inches from here to here. It's about a I got to look at my notes, 3.26 inch blade. See, I knew I was close. And it is very, very slicey. The blade geometry on this is spectacular. It's 118 thousandths of an inch for your blade stock, and then your 16 and 17 thousandths behind the edge. It is super slicey. And here's an up close look at your stone wash. It's nice and uniform, and look at the blade grind. I love I'm telling you what, I love this knife. I have no complaints. There's your plunge grind. You have a small sharpening choil right there. You have room before you get to the choil, or before you get to the plunge grind. Not a whole lot. You do have some mild jimping on the inside. You do have good access to the lock bar. Your lock bar right on the money, and your centering right on the money. You have a place right here for your lanyard holes, so for all you lanyard lovers, you're set and you're ready to go. It weighs 3.2 ounces, and the detent is money. It is spot on. Now, if this one has a smooth hydraulic drop because of that stone wash. I will tell you that if you like the faster droppy, this one, like this version, well, this one right here, because of the stone wash, it's going to make it close slower at first, but it will break in as the detent ball wears a little path on that stone wash. It will get smoother and quicker. Now you see here how slow it drops, nice and quiet. You will end up having it a lot quicker and more drop shutty like this one is. This is just an example of what it will be over time. In this version, you can see how fast that drops. But back to the knife. I'm going to tell you why this is such a great everyday carry knife. First, I almost forgot. It comes in a very nice tin. They have great packaging. You get a, what do you call that, a patch with it. You get a nice Nightshade sticker. You get a support thingy. You get a little information card. You also get this. They have great customer support. But here's the thing. So the ergonomics are spot on. There are no hot spots. It's very comfortable. I'll tell you that right off the bat. Look at this, how it fits in your hand. And when here's for an example, real quick, right next to the Civivi Elementum, you can see it's bigger than the Elementum. But with a typical knife like this, if you're going to be doing some push cuts, you know, just piercing something a little bit to cut it open, or if you're going to be doing some utility cuts, you have to bend your wrist. If you're going to cut something right here, you have to use English. You have to use your wrist to get to that surface. Now look what happens when I have this in my hand. The point is down here below the pivot of my hand, if you will. I'm not having to use all that English. This isn't pool. I'm not having to use all of that wrist motion to get the point to where I want. So when I'm gonna do a utility cut, it's already coming to the surface. Whereas with a standard knife like this, it's a lot of bending with my hand. And something else about this blade style, it draws what you're cutting into the cutting path. So if you're doing pull cuts, say a rope or anything like that, or cardboard, it draws that because of the shape, this direction and that direction, it draws what you're cutting right into the sharpened path, right in here in the middle. And when you do push cuts, it does the same thing. It draws it into the blade, not off of your blade. It is a fantastic slicer. You can cardboard, food, I use mine. I have a couple other versions. I use them for food prep, cutting up vegetables, some strawberries, stuff like that. It is such a great everyday carry, size, style, weight, everything about it is enjoyable. But this video is to tell you about the new version, which is the thumb hole, and the thumb hole does work. You no more pocket pecker. Some of you folks do not like the flipper tabs. I like them all. I'm a fan of flipper tabs. I like flipper tabs, but this one is very easy to open with your thumb, and it's very easy to reverse flick. And if you're not familiar with reverse flicking, you just like this. You're doing that motion right there, holding onto the knife and flicking. And this is also a good fidgeter. I told you about that jimping. The jimping is great. I wouldn't mind if there was a tad more, but you know I say that on almost every video. It does lock my hand into place. You are locked in. And I guess you could use this in a reverse grip in whatever kind of situation you want to do if you're poking into something and doing a little bit of cutting. But this is a fantastic knife. I can't even embellish any more on how much I absolutely love the Nightshade. So if you want to see what it looks like on the inside and how to disassemble and maintain it, I'm going to put a link up here in just a second. But like I said, I was checking, and this is about to come back in stock. This one is back in stock. And while we're talking about Vosteed, who I love their knives, the Labrador is in stock. So I will have a links for the Labrador, and guess what else is in stock? The Bellamy. Oh yeah, I have videos on the Bellamy, and I also have a video on the Labrador. That was recent. You can go up and do the search and you will see my video, or maybe I'll put a link at the end of this video. But there's one version of the Bellamy. Here's another version. It's a green, but just like this. I just recently did those videos, but I hope you enjoyed checking these out. And if you want to go see the disassembly of the Nightshade, I'll put a linky-doo right up here. You can click on that and go see the insides and get all the particulars and the specifics. But until I see you again in the chats or in the live streams or at the Hive stream, remember, live life in the present, keep a Band-Aid handy, and don't cut yourself.